Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the AdviserTech Show. I'm Tessa Lee, Managing Director of Moneyinfo, and today I am delighted to be joined in real life by Ola Abdul, who is CEO and founder of Fundment. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's actually very nice to, get out of London. And, so we're right here in your nice little town.
In sleepy Henley and Arden.
It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. We like it. We do like it. So look, to kick us off, the question I usually ask is tell us a little bit about you, for those people that don't know you. I'm sure many people do know you, and your sort of way into the industry and how you kind of ended up where you are today. Because usually people have got a fairly interesting story about falling into financial services somehow rather than going there on purpose. But what's your...
I wouldn't say I fell into it. Likewise, I wouldn't say I went into it on purpose.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a story that sort of sits somewhere in the middle. I studied economics at university. So by design, you learn about financial markets, you learn about financial economics. And I loved the subject. I actually did all right.
Yeah.
There. And after that, I thought I was actually going to do something else, take a job in the industry, maybe in oil and gas, something like that. As a grad, I could have gone in there to, work for one of the oil majors. But then I, was lucky to be snapped up by an old school company called Aberdeen Asset Management.
Okay.
You may have heard of that.
I have a little bit,
I don't think they exist anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was there, learned everything about, or as much as I can learn anyway about the business of asset management. And I was lucky to be mentored by some very good people there. So after that, I went on to join BlackRock.
Okay.
Where I sort of did all sorts of things there. Ultimately, I was in the iShares ETF business, helping with various things, and then left to give birth to what people see today as Fundment.
And what was the inspiration there with Fundment? Because I see you as a bit of a challenger in the industry, and what was the inspiration that led you to kind of found Fundment, and what was the mission behind it? What is it that you wanted to achieve and to change?
To be fair, I think it started off, with me, thinking advisors should use ETFs better, and that was, partly, due to my background in BlackRock in the iShares ETF business. The fact that people were able to use it elsewhere to sort of build, very, helpful solutions for clients, but it's not happening on the advisor side. And the thinking was, why don't we sort of begin to build this proposition into a product? Perhaps, into maybe a bit of a robo proposition at that point. We're talking 2016, 17, that was when, this was picking up. And so that was how we began what is Fundment today. And I remember meeting you in 2017. We talked about that offline, where you sort of delivered that memorable performance with that rap. That was beautiful.
It's a good job nobody's got the music.
I do remember that. I actually think that should be the soundtrack to Fundment. And but from that point onwards, we began to evolve the product, take feedback from advisors.
Yeah.
And what you see today is the job and the product of many, many years of evolution. Just making sure we build something that is fast, that is scalable, that is robust, and that can serve advice firms of all shapes and sizes. Brilliant.
And your focus has been not just on the assets, but also on the technology, very much on the technology.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We thrive on, solving products, solving problems using technology. If you come to our offices, I think you probably see that the moment you come in.
Yeah.
Our head count is heavily, software engineers, and that would remain the same. We, can support all sorts of solutions you might want to, deal with us, whether through our APIs. More than happy to sort of refer people to our APIs on our website, where they can sort of request access to it, and then be able to sort of experiment and build things on it. But likewise, we are also happy to sort of build the actual client-facing product.
Yeah.
The front end, that is as complex, and as complicated as it can be, that allows pretty much anything you want to do to be able to do it with a few clicks. Only a few weeks ago, we released our drawdown functionality, which actually allows people to request drawdown. So you can request, flexi access, other sort of complex drawdown products in as few as 6 clicks.
Wow.
6 clicks. So these are some of the things that we take very
and that's
seriously.
so important, isn't it? It's not just about the heavy lifting and the processing and the automation. It's about the user experience.
The user experience is very important
for advisor and from our perspective for client and for advisor.
Totally. It's very important. I mean, the platform business, I always say, is a very complicated beast, and I'm sure a lot of people out there understand that. But when you're in there every day, you actually realize how complicated and how messy it is. But for the end user out there and advisors themselves, it doesn't matter. They don't care. Just make sure that
they want to get the job done, right?
Get the job done as quickly as you can. And we care about that. And
what do you see happening in the platform space now, kind of this year moving forward? There's a lot of consultants out there commenting on it and giving their opinions. And what's your view on that? Where do you see it heading? What do you think? What's coming down the track in the platform space? And
I think the market is changing, and I would argue for anyone who truly wants to understand what is going on, yes, you could look at what the likes of us, the likes of ourselves are doing, and the success we're getting in the marketplace. And from that, it should be clear that the market is actually changing. Advisors are beginning to understand that the old ways of delivering platform service doesn't work anymore, which is why they're coming to people like ourselves.
Because they want it to be digital first, right?
They want it to be digital first. They want genuine automation, and they want business model that is simple to understand, that delivers value to clients, and that is, quite frankly, straightforward. They don't want all the regulatory risk that you can get when you start to mess around because you think you might save a few basis points here and there. And quite frankly, many of the consultants in the place who've been sort of adding more noise and confusion to the marketplace would do well to just shut up.
I mean, don't mince words about it, though. Don't be gentle.
I do my best to be civil. The point is, and we do every now and then, we subscribe to many of the reports, some of the well-known consultancies in the place will publish, where they are based on survey of the advisors and what advisors are saying about service, value for money. And happily, on some of the ones I've seen, we're either at the top or near the top of it. But when they sort of venture into areas in which I do not think they're close enough to be able to provide authoritative opinion, I think that is misleading and it potentially could slow the industry down.
But the stats you're talking about, that there was some recently where that's valuable because you can benchmark where a platform sits, right?
Correct.
And for you came top very recently in terms of firm's primary choice of platform, right? That's where you were right at the top there.
Yeah.
And actually across the board in terms of secondary platform as well, you were high. So why are you making such a difference, do you think?
I think it's, fundamentally we listen to advisors and we're able to respond very fast. We don't hide.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. We're out there, we're listening. If we get things wrong, I'm never going to say we're perfect and we get everything wrong. But when we get things wrong, we're always, where possible, quick to fix it.
Yeah.
And we have our team in-house. We're not relying on anyone to do anything for us. I can go through a lot of the stack that we run ourselves. And it's not just...
And you own your own tech,
right? We own our own tech. Beyond that, we even own our own payment stack. Some of our sort of digital competitors might be sitting on the likes of GoCardless or people like that. We run all that in-house. I've always said if you look at a platform today, you can actually carve out as much as 4 or 5 businesses out of it.
Yeah.
I've talked about GoCardless. That is a company. You all know who they are, and how valuable that company is. And all they do is provide the software that drives payments, particularly direct debit. Well, we run that internally. We built that software ourselves, with direct access to backs. And the reason why we've done that is that it allows us to sort of automate and innovate in the way we receive payments, and also we make payments to clients. And that is very valuable when you're starting to think about automating drawdown and income and the rest of it. But that's just one business. You can extend that further to say, well, the actual software that drives the platform, that is a separate business. What about pension administration? Well, there are standalone pension companies out there. I can carry on. So what you see as a platform is combination of multiple businesses, multiple disciplines.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, "Oh, it's just custody." Well, I wish it is. It's anything but. It's very complex.
And you want to own everything that's at the core of what you do in terms of what you're delivering, hence the payment stuff and everything else you do. But I know you're also very keen on, as an industry, that we collaborate and integrate better than we have done up to today.
Mm-hmm. Totally, and we are very, very supportive of that. I've been on record, for saying we could do better as an industry on integration. And yes, many will say one of the best ways to do that is everyone should publish their APIs, or make your APIs easier for people to consume. Fine. I agree with that. We're doing the best we can to support that. It's not easy. None of this stuff is easy. You have to, fix a lot of technology issues, but you also have to fix the economics of it. Who is paying for it? Why should someone spend that time and commit that resources into integrating with you? What's in it for them? And who is doing it? Who is ultimately going to foot the bill for this whole exercise? So the industry need to figure out a way to fix that. But it's technology that should drive integration forward. I do believe that people like ourselves and the other names out there, the integration we have with you guys is an example of commitment to it. But we still have a long way to go.
And a lot of it is, I think, it's an attitude to it more than the tech, isn't it? Right? Because every tech company out there, well, all of the newer or good ones out there now have APIs available, but they're not all open, right? Some of them are commercialized in terms of how they, and that then provides challenges, because it's about that appetite to integrate, not just about the technology. And sometimes I think that can be a real barrier. Whereas, like you just publish your APIs, and if people want to use them, that's great. Same here, but it's not the case all over the place.
No, it's not the case all over the place. And we've actually said no, to some potential companies we could integrate with, where they're saying we have to pay for that integration. And we're like, we're not paying for that.
Yeah.
We don't charge anyone to integrate with us or to use our APIs, on which we invest a lot of capital and resources and energy and love, really. We don't charge for that, so you shouldn't charge for us either.
Because the benefit is distribution for both parties, isn't it? And giving our mutual clients a better way to do business. That's what it's about. And then we make our clients sticky. We deliver a great service, and then everybody wins, ultimately. Totally,
that's what it should be. But at the same time, we are more than happy if everyone will see it that way. We don't want to charge for it. We don't expect anyone to pay us to use our APIs to build whatever they want to build. And we will provide the support. Of course, we have to prioritize. We don't have limitless resources.
Yeah.
We can't. Anyone who comes in, would not, get all of our attention and support. Day one, we have to prioritize that. I think it's fair to be honest about that.
Yeah.
But we do provide support to ensure people can integrate with our services, whoever they are.
Which is great. And that's, for me, I agree. I think there's a lot more that we can do as an industry. And one of the things that we've kind of been talking to you guys about, and we'd like to do more of with you in terms of integration, is, for me, the world's changed, right?
Yeah.
So we used to have, a lot of firms used to have the opinion that you need one massive big behemoth piece of technology that's going to do everything for you. And that's never worked in the 25 odd years or more that I've been in this industry. It's never perfect.
Yeah.
You don't get straight through processing. Nobody's really cracked that still today. I'm hoping I'll have, still be in the industry when that does happen, but I don't know. I think, it could be another 25 years and we still won't get there. But for me, what we've seen is that firms now want to use the best of breed technologies and partners in their business to deliver for their proposition and their clients. And that means we've got to get better at integrating. But it's not just about data anymore, is it? It's very much our focus, certainly for this year, is on process integration and how can we get rid of those swivel chair moments and make it a really seamless process for advisor and for client through. And for us, that two of the key pieces of technology in every advice firm is their platform and their client portal. And of course, the benefit from our perspective is that every advisory process starts and ends with a client, and we have them digitally engaged. So what can we do more to drive that flow through to the platform is really interesting for us, and that's something we're really focused on.
No, absolutely, and again, we're very supportive of that. We already have some sort of baseline integration anyway, but it's, from what I can remember, is limited to transactions and valuations, which is okay. But we need to.
It's kind of a hygiene factor, that
exactly.
Now, isn't it?
Yeah, so we need to go further. Yeah, and you guys are building amazing technology here, and there's no reason why some of the information you're collecting, KYC, and all the other information advisors are providing to you as part of getting the clients on board, can't not go straight through to the platform. And when it gets to us, it is straight through. So that straight through philosophy is actually there today. We don't have to wait 25 years for it.
The capability's there, right? We just haven't, we haven't quite got it there yet.
We don't need to wait 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the industry, around the same time too. Maybe not quite 25, but not far off.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wait
another 25 years.
No, absolutely not.
But that, that for me, we see a lot about straight-through processing in the industry, but it's not just about not having to rekey your client details or your plan details or whatever it happens to be. It's about removing friction in that process, isn't it? And keeping every party informed along the way as to what's happening with that account opening process or that transfer of assets process, which is particularly a cause of friction for advisors and for their clients. And if we can start to really automate those processes so that they happen quicker, but also everybody's kept informed, I think that's where we'll really start to win the hearts and minds.
As I said, I think the functionality and the features, they're all there. I mean, we already operate functionality on the platform that keeps advisors up to date on where transfers are.
Yeah.
And we also have that on our API. Do you believe that? We have drawdown on our API, so you can actually integrate with us and begin to sort of interact with our services. Creating drawdown accounts. Begin to sort of instruct payrolls and
and that's complex, right?
That is very difficult
to have. Digitize that.
Those are there. We've done that. No one is using it at the moment, but it's there on the API. No one is actually tested it, but it's available.
Yeah.
And so are all the other things we built in our APIs where people haven't really pushed it to its limits. What we've seen are people using it to drive some efficiencies, within the advice firm through their chosen partner, whether that is Moneyinfo or Intelliflow or whatever. But functionality is there.
Yeah.
We are devoting huge amount of resources to that. It just comes down to how do we begin to pull all this together?
Yeah, because there's an adoption path, right, that the firms and your partners have to go through to really start gaining the efficiencies and the values of that. Correct. But if it's there, you're ahead of them. You're one step ahead of everybody already, aren't you? Because they're not going to come knocking on your door asking for it. It's already there when they're ready.
And they could get that through people like Moneyinfo.
Yeah.
That is a challenge.
Yeah, watch this space, hey. I think it could be an exciting year for us both. And what does 2024 look like? We're still relatively early in the year right now, as we're recording this. But what does it look like for Fundment? What's next?
I think for us, we wanted to carry on some of the things we did in 2023. We pushed out a lot of features.
Yeah.
Some of them are things advisors already use today. I can't remember too many of it. We actually sent out an email recently telling advisors we pushed out something like 60 major features last year. But then we sort of outlined the six that we did, and they include things like how they manage advisory portfolios and how they rebalancing various rebalancing options that are there on our APIs. We pushed out additional features there. So that's going to continue.
Yeah. And that's very much driven by your advisors, right?
Advisors telling us
you listen to them.
Correct.
Which is important.
So I think that development momentum will carry on over the course of this year and the years before. We always say we're still just scratching the surface in terms of what we can build and deliver. So there's still so many use cases that advisors are coming to us with that we are working on to fix. And all of this means if we carry on doing that, and I'm sure we will carry on to do that, we will, in 2024, having had another very, very strong year from a business growth standpoint, market penetration. As you say, we're becoming the first choice for users.
You're growing very rapidly, right?
And growing
in terms
number
of
users. So there's no reason why that shouldn't continue, but we know what we have to do as well to keep that momentum.
Amazing.
Going.
Amazing. And what do you see for advice firms? What are they facing this year that you want to help them particularly with in terms of the challenge? There's always challenges, whether it's a piece of regulation coming in or pressure on fees, or what is it that you feel is kind of a priority for the advice firms that you're working with now in terms of how you can help?
It varies depending on which firm you speak to. So many firms, would like to, they all want to operate, or have preferences on how they wish to operate their firm, depending on their size, really, and how they run investment as well for their clients, how they onboard those clients, whether, what sort of tools they use, within their practice, that sort of thing. So it varied, really.
Yeah, but they want control over it.
They do want control, as they should.
Yeah.
And, again, we are very much behind that. So we go around the country, we continue to do that. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow is Saturday. I think I'll be home. No, I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. But next week
I'll be on the hockey pitch and then in the pub tomorrow. That's a typical Saturday for me. So looking forward to it.
I probably won't wake up until midday.
No, I know you won't. We were talking about that earlier, but never mind.
Terrible.
So I guess it's that flexibility, isn't it, in terms of meeting the challenges head on for advisors. You're keeping ahead of them in terms of what you can support from a technology perspective, which is great because you're going to be ready when your clients are ready. And obviously that's great for us as a partner of yours because we now know that the breadth of what we can do in terms of integration. We're not held back by anything. We're not waiting for anything, which is fantastic. But I guess it's also about that choice for advice firms, isn't it? And keeping listening to them so that that's just why you're getting it right. Yeah? And
they do. And, we also, honestly, I personally, been incredibly, trying to find the right word here, honored, I don't think that's the right one, but you probably get it, with the support we're getting from advisors, not just in, helping us to become the business we are today and also where we're going, but just how engaging they've been. I don't think we would be the business we are today without the advisors we've got, whether they joined us 3 years ago or last week. They all have very strong views on what they think the platform should do. And I think for the most part, we do the best we can to not just listen, but implement what they're telling us.
To deliver on your promises.
To deliver on the promises. So, again, I don't see that stopping.
Fantastic. So before we finish, I think we're coming towards the end of our time today. So tell us a little bit about if people want to find out more about how Fundment can support their business, how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you? How can they find out more?
I think the easiest way to do that is to, go on our website, which is here, and just request a demo or just send us an email, support@fundment.com. We'll pick it up and get back to you. But any advice firm, whether they're big, small, large, national, we have developed some of the most comprehensive functionality that they need to, support their businesses. And as I say, we're going to continue to invest on that.
Brilliant. And we're keen, Moneyinfo and Fundment, to hear of mutual clients that are using both of our services and what more we can be doing. We've got some big plans, and we've got some plans to do deeper integration, which will be fantastic. But we're always keen to hear from mutual clients out there that that can tell us what we should be doing and what we should be focusing on, because that's always very helpful. That's same philosophy for us, really. If we listen to our firms, then we'll get it right.
No, that's a good point. Yes, please let us know what you'd like to see.
Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to have it here as well in real life, as I say, rather than doing it over a Zoom or a team. So thank you for coming up to see us today and for taking part on the podcast. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and tune in for more episodes soon.